Diaries podcast, episode 19. Gang is all back. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got Super Bowl, college basketball, Woj bombs.
Didn't you say this before?
To be fair, this is our second take. We said some things that we shouldn't have in the intro. But okay, coming up, we have our interview with the legendary Texas Tech walk-on, Avery Benson, and we're playing that right now. All right, welcome to an interview that we have with a very special guest, the guy an NBC Sports article describes as the scrappy walk-on from nowhere, Arkansas. We welcome Avery Benson, a walk-on from Texas Tech. How's it going, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm just hanging out, getting ready for the game tomorrow.
All right, Avery, I got to be honest. So earlier this season, the Louisville game, I don't think you can start anywhere else. Me, alongside a lot of other people, were watching that game. Obviously, Louisville's number one at the time. It's at freaking Madison Square Garden. And I remember you in that game, and then they mentioned that you were a walk-on kind of in your post-game interview. And I said to my buddy who does this show with me, we got to get that guy on at some point. And then we had some other guests come on. It kind of got pushed to the wayside. And then as I was looking for a guest, I was kind of going through some teams and trying to find a guy that we would reach out to. And you were the guy, and I didn't realize until I started researching for this game that you were the one in the same, that guy from that post-game interview. But what I want to start with, first and foremost, so when I look at your freshman year picture, or when I look at your senior year high school picture, you are the skinny white guy, no tats, normal length hair. What happened between then and now where you look like you're an extra in like a Western movie?
Oh, man, I don't know. The hair is just kind of, didn't want to go to the, barber shop and spend some money on somebody cut my hair. So it's partly being lazy and, just growing it out. When I was a little kid, I used to have real long hair. And then as I got older, I just kept it buzzed, basically. But, and the tats, my dad has a couple. And so it was just kind of something that, I always thought was cool, with my dad. And so, I got some. But, yeah, that was about it.
So, and at least, I don't know how long this was ago, but there was a picture when you had a pretty good mullet going. Have you thought about going back to the mullet?
It's funny. When in college, I wouldn't really go get a haircut. Like, I wouldn't want to pay somebody $20 to cut my hair, so my friends would cut it all the time. They got pretty, they got all right with it. But when I grew my hair out last year, my buddy was like, listen, we got to do a mullet. And being from Arkansas, I was like, I can rock it. And so I did, I had a pretty nice mullet there for a while. And then I just decided to buzz it off.
Yeah. And you mentioned not wanting to pay for a haircut, which I feel is a totally understandable response. And even more so because you started out at Texas Tech as a walk-on. So you're not getting put on scholarship. And I read somewhere that to pay for school, you were working at a construction company. Tell me about that.
Well, yeah, like I did a lot of just like oddball jobs just to, have some walk-around money. My parents and my grandpa, when I was born, started a savings account for college. And so, over the years, I helped my parents out. And my parents, saved for me and my two sisters to go to college my whole life. So, I just did oddball stuff, worked a lot back home. Mostly outdoors, manual labor.
Yeah.
That's what I'm better at that than math, I guess. And so, that was just to walk around, put some gas in my truck. So, but, I enjoyed it too. Kind of helped me, build character around here.
Sure. So, now that you're on scholarship, because there's a couple weeks ago, you found out that you're getting put on scholarship, are you still planning on kind of working those odd jobs now, or are you okay?
In the summertime, I probably won't, get, like a summer job. But I'll definitely, my buddies ask for some help. I'll be more than glad to help some of my buddies out. They all mow lawns and landscape stuff, which will be fun. But, now that I'm on scholarship, my main focus is, working on my craft and helping Coach Beard, win basketball games.
Yeah. How did you find out that you're getting put on scholarship?
Like we were just in practice over Christmas break, and we were doing like late game situations, set up where Morrow would like come down the floor and like come off a screen, and catch it and let it fly. Well, I was in like the opposite corner, and he shot it, and he missed, and I went to get the ball, and I put it back in. And my coach called us up, and he was like, guys, kind of gave the speech.
Yeah.
He was like, and we don't have any more walk-ons. And I kind of looked around, and then my first thought was like, am I like still on the team? And he looked at me and he almost started to cry. And he was like, Avery on scholarship, and everyone, just ended up like dogpiling. So it was a good time.
That is sick. So as I was kind of researching up, I mean, the bond that you and Coach Beard have kind of really stood out. That he tells this story from when you were back in high school, and he was the coach at Little Rock, and he saw you play in a high school game, and he describes you going for a loose ball, losing about 3 teeth, and then as they're kind of cleaning up the blood, you're like arguing with your coach to stay in the game. And he told his assistant, this is how the story goes, he told his assistant, we want that guy on our team. So, I mean, do you remember that specific instance, or what was it like when you met Coach Beard?
Yeah, so we were at Peach Jam, actually. It was my sophomore summer going into my junior year. And, like, the game, close game, all those games are close out there with all that. And, just a loose ball was right there for me. And I dove, and, I missed it. And I kind of pushed it forward. And I went to dive on it again, and I kind of undercut a guy. And he, landed on the back of my head, and I basically took a chunk out of the hardwood with my teeth, and so they were all gone. And it was funny, Danny Manning was there, and he just kind of pushed my teeth back on the court, and I picked them up, and they were just in shambles. It wasn't anything worth saving because I've busted a few teeth before, and I just kind of walked off the court, and it was our ball, and we actually had to hit a game winner, and so we ended up winning, and then I had to go get my teeth fixed that night. But, yeah, so then I hadn't met Coach Beard yet formally. Coach Flanagan was there. I remember seeing Coach Flanagan. He came up to me after the game and, shook my hand. And, after we went home, that's when Beard called me and offered me a scholarship to University of Arkansas Little Rock. And so I'd never really met him, but that phone call was me and Coach Beard's first.
Cool. And then, so you go to Little Rock, and then when Coach Beard leaves to go to Texas Tech, you follow him, knowing full well Beard was straight up with you. We don't have a scholarship for you. You're going to have to walk on, and you would have to sit out a year and whatever, yada, 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 all these hoops and obstacles, and yet you still make the decision to go to Texas Tech and become a walk-on. What all went into that decision?
Finishing out high school, I got a lot of the same stories like Avery, from Coach X, Y, and Z. It was like Avery, play hard, and you're getting play back from Arkansas, and I weighed up at 65 soaking wet, so that didn't help that I was skinny as a rail. But Coach Beard, I was lucky that Coach Beard always remembered me and what I'd do to win. And so, he contacted me and he said, hey, Avery, come out. We want you to be a walk-on. Come see the campus. What you think? And so, came out here, basically walked around with my parents around campus, hung out with Coach for a little while, played pickup with their guys in the summer. And that night, we were going back to Dallas to stay with some family, kind of halfway. And I was like, Dad and my mom. And I was like, I think, that's where I need to be. It's really the only shot that I got right now. And so we called Coach Beard and told him I was going to attend Texas Tech in the fall.
Awesome. Avery, you were on that team last year, that miracle run that Texas Tech had to the national championship. What was so special about that team, and what do you remember about that run?
Man, what was so special is just that group of guys. Tariq Owens, who's now playing in the G League for the Phoenix Suns, bounced around a little bit, went to Tennessee, and then transferred to St. John's. He had never been to an NCAA tournament. And then we had Matt Mooney, who's with the Cavaliers G League team, if I'm not mistaken. Started out at Air Force, didn't see the tournament, and then we went to South Dakota. Got beat twice at the buzzer to get into the tournament. So he'd never been, but he'd been real close. Those guys, that's all they wanted was to make the tournament. And Lawrence Odiase, was our leader. And, just a very. But what I remember most, and I think about it every day, is when that buzzer sound against Virginia. We were sad we had lost, but right there in the locker room, like everybody, was, crying, like, we were that close, and then, just giving everybody a hug, it was definitely worth it.
Yeah. You got a little bit of playing time in that tournament. I think I saw Buffalo and Michigan.
Yeah.
Did you ever in a million years, when you were back in high school, you 165, skinny as a rail, did you ever think that you were going to be playing in an NCAA tournament game?
I'd like to think so. That was just always kind of the goal, is to, play in the tournament one day and, just give it a shot, try to win the whole thing. And definitely Coach Beard, you going to win, not just to be there, but, I always dreamed about playing in the big dance and, playing in front of thousands. So,
yeah.
I would have thought I would have made it, but realistically at the time, I've been like, man, it's not looking too good.
Yeah. Last year, so this year you've gotten some positive exposure. Last year got a little bit of maybe not so positive exposure for a play at the end of that big win against Baylor. Do you know what play I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you want to walk us through that?
So
I thought it was. I'll just come out and say I thought that was legendary. So I'm not even a Texas Tech fan, and that was probably my favorite thing that I read about you. So don't feel like you have to defend yourself.
No. So we're going through the game, and we're at the foul line. Baylor shooting free throws, and they're yelling out like, press them. And it's me, Andrew Sorrells, who's another walk-on, and Parker Higgs, who's a walk-on. Like, we're just kind of looking at each other, and we're like, all right, we're looking at each other like, let's play ball. Like, we just forget about the score, forget about how much time's left. Like, we're just going to play ball. And so, we just break the press, and I'm on that backside, and Andrew just throws it up, and I went and got it. And at that point, I didn't realize how upset Coach Beard was. And so, Andrew probably got the worst out of me and him because Coach Beard got onto him on TV. And then, of course, I got my fair share in the locker room. But it was definitely, something I won't ever forget. So.
You throw a one-handed jam, alley-oop one-handed jam on a team when you're up by 20. When you explain that they were yelling out press, I feel like that makes it a little bit more tolerable. Coach Beard might not agree with, but yeah, I see that a lot at the end of games when the walk-ons come in, and usually it's the other team's starters that are still in there, and they're looking at you guys like people would look at lunch. They're thinking that they can just take advantage of you guys. So why not show them some business, right?
Yeah, we were just, there was, not that much time left on the clock, and, they're just yelling out, pick them up, and we're just kind of looking around like, the only scenario that we, don't get yelled at and do our thing is just Andrew holds the ball.
Right.
But, in the moment, it was just like, I guess we were just playing still, and so.
Yeah. When you go to opposing arenas, what type of stuff do you hear from fans? Like, do people kind of go after you as like a trash talk target?
I don't pay much of attention to it, once that game starts, I just kind of, zone out everything else and just, listen to our coaches and, talk to players. When I wasn't playing and, I was just there, I was on the bench and, cheering our guys on, listening and trying to learn.
Yeah.
Every now and then somebody, would grab my ear, from the student section and just, get after me. And, I wouldn't, pay it nothing, but, I'd still listen just for the fun of it. But, not really,
Yeah.
not that I know of.
Are you a big trash talker yourself, like when you're out on the court?
No.
No.
I tend not to.
Yeah.
in my mind, the only guys that can talk trash are the ones that are averaging about 18, 8 rebounds.
Yeah.
Or your, projected draft pick. I mean, in high school, I might open my mouth a little bit, but that was different. But no,
Yeah.
I don't think I have much room to talk trash. I just kind of go out there and play ball.
Fair enough. Speaking of projected draft picks, that's a nice segue into talking about Louisville. You guys are facing the number 1 team in the nation in Madison Square Garden, most famous arena in the world. Game is on ESPN. The entire eyes of the college basketball world is on that game. You come in and score 10 points, tally 2 monstrous blocks, grab 4 rebounds, and you're also guarding Jordan Nwora, their best player. He's going to be an NBA draft pick this year. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Walk us through that game. Did you know that you were going to be playing that much?
No. So, just kind of my job here is my job at Texas Tech is just play hard, keep the young bucks, focused, try to, be a leader on and off the court, when I'm on the sideline, talk to the guys, and, just do anything I can to help us win. And, so they put me in, and, I'm in Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball. And, it's just kind of the pieces fell in place that night. I couldn't have done it without, my teammates. They did their part, and I did my part probably the best I could. And so it just kind of happened like that.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, what were the emotions like? So you have that big game against the number 1 team in the nation, and you're getting on the court some, but since that game, like that was your career high, at least at Texas Tech in terms of points. What was it like to have that big game, but then kind of go back and fill out your role still? So you're not starting a game, after that big performance against Louisville. How did you reconcile that, or were you expecting to kind of go back to your role?
Oh, I mean, that's my job right now is just to, play my role as best as I can. After that game, it was full of emotion, but I wasn't expecting coach to, play me 30 minutes and start me, and that wasn't even my intention after the game.
Yeah.
But, I trust coach, who he puts out there is who he puts out there. He's just trying to win ball games. But, definitely after that game, my confidence, was boosted. I think it helped me play better with my team. And, just being able to step out on the court and be like, all right, you can, just stepping out there and go, got this, do your job and, help us win the ball game.
Yeah. Approximately how many messages and calls did you get after that game? Like, how much was your phone blowing up?
Oh, my phone didn't really work for a while. I was able to call my parents as we were getting on the bus, and it was real short. I was just calling them, and they were livid. My mom, bless her heart, knows nothing about basketball really. She just knows when we get points and when we don't. But she was just happy. She knew I did good, and my dad, played college ball, so he was, pumped and excited. And when that phone call ended, that was about all I could do. My phone was not working at all.
Just because it was blowing up so much, so many messages and whatnot.
Yeah. I probably had, who knows, countless, numbers of tweets and stuff. Yeah. And I probably, I couldn't even get to all of them just because partly my phone wouldn't let me. But, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, Avery, we'll end with a couple questions. These are just simple, take your pick questions, all right? Would you rather hit a 3 in a game or take a charge?
Take a charge.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, next one. Would you rather poster your worst enemy or hit a buzzer beater?
I don't know. Yeah, hit a buzzer beater.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, you're a team first guy, right? Buzzer beater means that you guys are winning the game. And then your final question, this we'll end on a less lighthearted note. What does being a good teammate mean to you?
Just helping the guys whenever I can. You know, I'm big on helping the guys off the court. I drive the only truck. I help them take out the trash. They just throw it in the bed of my truck, and we'll all go unload it. You know, just being there for them. You know, on the court. I've been in college for this is my third year, and so you know, I like to think I can help them. You know, just with simple stuff. You know, just being there for them is really probably the most important thing that I can think of.
Yeah.
In my job, especially, is just being there, making sure they keep a level head and everything. So.
Sweet. All right. Thanks so much, Avery. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Welcome back. What a great interview with Avery Benson.
It was a good interview.
We have not actually. We're sitting here on a Thursday. We're going to be recording the interview tomorrow on a Friday, but I already know it's great. I can see it.
It was great.
It was great.
What a great guy.
Great guy. A
Real
lot of cool
chill,
things
down
to
to
say. Very down to earth.
That's awesome what he did.
Just a stud.
Yeah.
And can you believe that he said that thing?
That was crazy.
I mean, I was not expecting that.
We're going to have to try that.
Absolutely. Okay, so nobody who is maybe a top 10 player in the league traded teams this year, like maybe we've seen in previous years. But here at right at the deadline, we got news. D'Lo going to the Timberwolves to unite with Karl Anthony Towns. Thoughts?
Initial thought, good move.
Mm-hmm. For who?
Andrew Wiggins and D'Lo.
Yeah.
I don't think the Warriors were a good fit for D'Lo. I mean, it shows his play style. I think it would be good for his play style. It just wasn't a good fit. Just didn't work the way that everybody thought it would. So I think him going to Timberwolves is a good move. Him and Cat are going to be they're going to be good.
That's good. I think Minnesota now can. I haven't taken a look at the standing. They're pretty far out of the playoff picture right now. They've lost
I think they're 10.
14 games in a row, something like that. But D'Lo and Cat, we know that they're like friends, whatever, buddy. It'd be interesting to see if they contend for that 8th playoff spot. I am a little bit sad because I wanted to see what it would look like with D'Lo, Clay, and Steph all on the same court, and now we're robbed of that.
It wouldn't look good.
You don't think so?
No. I don't think they'd even run all three on the same court at the same time.
Really?
Yep. I think D'Lo would have came off the bench.
That's a heck of a lot of shooting on one court. I think that's an interesting look. I think if the Warriors, obviously the Warriors at this point, they're not going to make the playoffs. But had D'Lo come back next year, and they would have had those three guys.
Well, see, I think it'd be different because the team they had with Steph, Clay, and KD, that's a lot of firepower also.
Yeah.
I mean, if not more.
Yeah.
But KD is such a versatile player, he can play any position. D'Lo's not that way.
I am interested with Wiggins because it's like he's like KD, but only like, 15% of the player that KD is?
He's a
You
little
know what I'm
more
saying?
than that.
Okay.
Andrew Wiggins has one of the highest ceilings of anybody in the NBA, and we've been saying that for years.
That's the thing. That is it right there.
But he went into the draft thinking that he was going to be an all-star for years. I mean, he's a stud. He's a stud. And I think him getting out of Minnesota is the best move he could have done.
I understand that he's still like comparatively young, but he has been in the NBA for a fat minute now. And everybody always talks, when they talk about Wiggins, potential. Okay, here we are down the road when he comes into the league.
You can say the same thing with
2013, 2014. Here we are 6 or 7 years down the road.
Yep.
As the great Yogi Berra used to say, it's getting late early, you know?
Right.
I think he is probably what he's going to be. And I think he's a serviceable player.
See, I don't think so. I think this move
be elevated.
I think this move is really good for him to get out of Minnesota. Change. I think it's going to be a lot of change for him, but I think it's going to be good. I think he'll be an all-star next year.
Interesting.
I do.
On the same team as Clay, Steph, and Draymond? Hot take.
I do think so. I think he's going to be an all-star. I think the Timberwolves weren't good enough for him to get the spotlight, I guess, and that's something he needs to be a stud, I think. I think there's times where he's been in the shadow his whole NBA career, you know. I feel like if he's given the spotlight, he's going to step up.
We'll see.
I think Cat's an exceptional player.
Yeah.
Cat's top 4, top 5 centers in the league.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I had an argument with my brother earlier today, and he talked to this guy at school today about who's better, D'Lo or Cat, and I said Cat by far.
Oh, no question. Yeah.
I think D'Lo's overrated.
Yeah. No, I think he was good with the Nets, and I think he's a good player. But yeah, I think some people hype him up a little bit too much. Speaking of top 5 centers, Clint Capella on the move, going from the Rockets to the Hawks. Trae Young gets a pick and roll buddy. Trae Young, John Collins, Clint Capella, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, and Cam Reddish. That's quite the core. Quite the core.
Give the Hawks 1 or 2 years, they're going to be at least in the playoffs.
Atlanta fans have got to be excited.
I'm excited. I wouldn't necessarily even say I'm a huge Atlanta fan, but for the culture of Atlanta, it's incredible.
The
it's a
biggest
great
thing
move.
for me, I'm not sure if they're going to be among the championship contenders for the next couple of years, but they're going to be fun to watch. I've seen some Lob City comparisons. You remember those Clippers teams with like DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin,
Chris
Paul? Like they were never consistently threatening for a championship.
They were fun to watch, though.
They were in the playoffs, and they were fun to watch.
Same with the Clippers last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't really have that big, lob ball that they had before with Chris Paul and DeAndre, but, I mean, they were fun to watch because they were scrappy.
Yeah. What does this mean for the Rockets, though? They get Covington, who's a good player, but there's literally not a single serviceable big on
I
that
can tell you right
Rockets
now, the
team
Rockets lost that trade. Clint Capella, he's a backbone player. He's like for the Thunder, Steven Adams. A strong role player that every team needs to have. And right now, the Rockets don't have that. Robert Covington, nothing against him. He's a great player, but he's not Clint Capella.
I respect what the Rockets are trying to like. They understand that they are behind the Clippers, Lakers, probably behind the Jazz and Nuggets. They're at least in that kind of tier with the Jazz and Nuggets. So they are looking at the bigger picture and saying, okay, we're not going to compete with a team that has AD and LeBron or a team that has both Kawhi and Paul George. So let's just experiment. Let's just try something completely different.
The thing is, they should be third in the West. I mean, they got James Harden and Russell Westbrook, which is the same exact kind of dynamic duo as both other teams.
Yeah.
I mean, Russ, who's averaged the triple-double 2-3 seasons, and James Harden, who's literally MVP last year.
It is puzzling. The Rockets are puzzling for me because I know. Okay, so you got James Harden, you got Russell Westbrook, Eric Gordon's a pretty good player. PJ Tucker is okay. Once you get past those guys,
Eric Gordon's
the roster is bare.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely bare.
I think the main thing they're missing is a good 5. And I think them getting rid of Clint Capella is not a good
Well,
move.
I know. So they're going to be asking PJ Tucker to play the 5. And so there's going to be times on the court where no player is above, 6'7"?
That's like times where they had the Timberwolves are running Taj Gibson at 5.
Yeah.
He shouldn't run 5.
I do, but what I'm saying is I respect their willingness to try something different. And I know they're trying to emulate those like 2015, 2016 Warriors teams that went small ball.
Yeah.
And they played like Iguodala at the 5 or Draymond Green at the 5. And those teams are really good, those death lineups, but I don't know. Remains to be seen.
PJ Tucker's no Draymond Green, though.
No. Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. And I think the Rockets have been underperforming this year, last year, year before last, year before that.
Yeah.
I mean, with Russ, with Chris Paul before, I mean, they got a team, They just and at some point, you got to wonder if it's coming down to coaching. You never know. Could be.
Final big trade that we'll talk about, Iguodala going to the Heat, Winslow going to the Grizzlies. To me, the Miami Heat have been kind of flying under the radar this year.
Absolutely. They're going off.
I think I just don't have faith in the Sixers at this point. Maybe they'll turn it around the second half of the season, and I know they're super talented on paper, but I watched the Atlanta Hawks blow them out by 20 points the other night, and I know that's a small sample size, but we've seen from the Sixers all game long, all season long, is just inconsistency.
They're hit or miss.
Yeah.
But when they hit, they hit.
I would not be surprised if we have a Bucks Heat Eastern Conference Final.
That excites me, though, because the Heat, I like that team. Jimmy Butler's my favorite player in the NBA. And so I'm hoping – I think those 3 teams are going to be just all 3 fun teams to watch.
How about the edge guys, though, on the Heat? Like, we knew Jimmy Butler was going to be good. We know Dragic is good. We know Adebayo is good. But, like, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn.
Kendrick Nunn has been a monster.
Yeah. Tyler Hero. Yeah. Like, all those rotation guys. Lovely.
They just got it going on.
They got it going
I
on.
like the Heat team this year.
Okay, we'll take a break. Phillips jokes.
All right. Y'all ready for some comedy? Joke time. Okay, so there was this scientist, this rocket scientist. He worked at NASA. But he had a little thing on the side that he did to make some extra money. I mean, not like he needed it, but he liked to do it. He had a little rock and roll band. He played the guitar. And so he never told his band that he was a scientist because they would start kind of just, asking him for money because, he makes big bucks, right? And so one time before the concert, he let it slip, and they found out. But they weren't too mad. And they said, hey, you're going to rock it out there. Rocket scientist, yeah. That's a good one, Classic. Well, like he said, yeah. Okay, so there's this tree. And tree's name was Fred. He had a pet hamster. Hamster's name was Bob. Don't worry about it. Hamster died. Really sad.
Wait, Bob the hamster died?
Bob the hamster died, and Fred was really sad about it. And so his friend Bush came and tried to cheer him up. But all Fred the tree would say was, "Hey, leave me alone."
Leave.
As they say, leave.
Leave me alone. Classic.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Catch me at the local sports bar Mondays. I do stand-up comedy.
All right, welcome back. That was Phillips jokes. We should touch on the Super Bowl. It's only the biggest sporting event in the world. But I want to talk about the halftime show.
Yes.
Shakira. J-Lo Lopez.
J-Lo.
Jennifer J-Lo Lopez. It was quite the show. Quite the.
It was a good show.
Quite the performance.
It was a great show.
They are pretty ladies.
Great. They sing really well too.
Have great voices.
Mm-hmm.
They really know how to entertain a crowd.
Yep. All right.
The game itself. Wow. I mean,
It was a good
Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid.
I saw them coming back from a mile away.
Really?
Oh yeah. Once they got that 3rd and 15 where he literally didn't even see and just lobbed it up for 50 yards or whatever it was,
Yeah.
I knew they were coming back.
I didn't know who to root for. Like, I wanted the Chiefs to win because of the whole 50-year thing. But then with the Niners, like, I still have a love for Richard Sherman. Even though, the whole Seahawks drama broke our hearts, goes to our most hated rival, and then plays for them, and then talks trash about the Seahawks. It's like an ex who goes on, talks trash about you, gets with someone else.
Your best friend.
They're doing your best friend, and then more like your most hated enemy. That's even. And then then has this really successful run
To the Super Bowl.
to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
But you want them to win. You know, I wanted Sherman to win. I wanted Sherman to win and the Chiefs to win.
I'm glad he did. He's a good corner though.
He did get burned a couple times.
A bunch of times.
Kind of got toasted.
Yeah.
Put some butter on that toast.
No surprise. I mean, he's old.
He is old. He's
Slowing down.
he's got high defensive IQ. That's where he wins the mental battles.
No.
But they don't hand out Lombardis for winning mental battles.
Well said.
Thank you. Any ads that stood out?
Nope. I mean, they're bland this year.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple like, okay,
Yeah, like that
ones.
one with Aquaman when he was taking off his
Yeah.
muscle. Okay.
Yeah.
That was like a little chuckle. I don't know. Super Bowl ads are just.
The Can't Touch This, the Cheetah one, that was like, but it wasn't like,
getting weak. It's like they're trying too hard to be good.
nothing will top Puppy Monkey Baby.
Mr. Peanut.
Oh, Baby Peanut? Baby Nut? Yeah, that was good. That was okay.
Nothing's gonna top Bud Light
Puppy
and
Monkey.
the horse back in
Puppy Monkey Baby.
2017 or whatever it
Puppy Monkey Baby.
That was stupid.
Puppy Monkey Baby? Okay. All right. Finally, 1v1 basketball battles of history. Okay. Napoleon Dynamite versus Steve Irwin. Ready?
Steve
Begin.
Irwin, right?
Steve Irwin.
There you go.
Yeah. Crikey.
Who's Napoleon Dynamite? Who's Napoleon Dynamite? Who is that?
I know you're joking.
Who is that? What's he from?
Dear sweet heavens, have mercy on my soul.
What's he from, Noah?
If it wasn't your fake birthday today, so help me. Some say love
What is that from?
is a river. Napoleon Dynamite.
That's a song. It's
The
not
Fro. Vote for Pedro.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I've heard the movie. Never seen it though.
You just listen to the soundtrack.
I've listened to you sing it and quote it. That's enough for me.
It's one of Philip's favorite movies.
Noah let me borrow the movie in DVD.
That's right.
I had it for like 2 weeks.
Never watched it.
Never watched it. I had no interest.
I remember that.
I had no interest in watching that stupid
I was in
movie.
high school.
was 4 years ago, Noah.
So you're not super qualified to talk about
Oh, I am.
why Napoleon Dynamite would win.
Oh, I am.
First of all, his 3-point jump shot is dynamite. Tell you that much.
That's all you have.
What else? Closing dance sequence when he's trying to get Pedro into office. He's got the moves.
Thanks for ruining the movie.
So
for
he's
me.
got great flexibility,
That was great.
great moves. He's very agile. Okay, so he likes tater tots, right? What do you do with tater tots? You dunk them into sauce.
No.
Napoleon Dynamite is a dunker. What else?
Why would Steve Irwin lose?
Because he's dead.
He was a real person.
Okay, he gets stung by a basket one time. He's done for.
Stung.
Stung.
By a
Stung it.
basket.
You know,
Would you
Napoleon
classify,
Dynamite stings him for 11 points.
How he died as being stung? What would you call that? Because he got, with the stingray.
right?
Did he get stung?
I thought so. What else? What else does a stingray do to you?
I don't know.
Because isn't it because they like hit you with the tail,
Yeah.
so they sting
They
you
got a
like a
sharp point in
hornet?
the tail.
Yeah,
I've never thought about it like that though.
yeah.
He got
Although,
stung by a stingray.
here's what I'll say
I
for
mean, a
Steve
sting.
Irwin.
I get it, obviously.
Here's what I'll say for Steve Irwin. There's a couple great Australian basketball players. Matthew Dellavedova, Patty Mills,
Steve Irwin.
Joe Ingles, Steve
Joe
Irwin.
Ingles is Australian.
I think so.
Well, that's enough the case right there. He's
Yeah. I mean, if he
beating
scores,
dynamite boy.
if he gets a lead as half as long as his hairline, then he is
Can we do a quick demonstration?
golden.
Just a quick demonstration.
Is this about stingrays?
No, it's about dude, it's about Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay. Oh God.
Let's get low.
I don't know.
I feel like we just got punked out.
We did.
Go ahead.
This is how Napoleon Dynamite would play basketball.
Vote for Pedro. Vote for Pedro. Vote for Pedro.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. That was something special.
Well, hope you enjoyed today's episode. I think we should end it on that because that
Yeah,
makes
that
no
was-
sense whatsoever.
Okay, final score: Napoleon Dynamite 11, Steve Irwin 2.
Steve Irwin 11, Napoleon Dynamite. It doesn't exist, so 0. Okay.
So a corpse versus someone who does not exist.
I got money on the corpse.